We live more and more online in the choices that we make. But if you're thinking about how much we shop online, how much we make decisions on where to travel online, or even going back to this idea about health choice, behavior itself is changing a lot. Model developments have changed very dramatically over the last few years. The number of models, certainly since I've been active in choice modeling, has increased very substantially over the years. And that increase is really correlated with an increase in computational power. We can now estimate models in a few minutes. Choice modelers have started using big data. Big data is also very noisy data, but there's a lot of opportunities with GPS data. Choice modeling is now really used across so many different disciplines. Again, this is a bit of a blessing and a curse, because the different fields don't really talk to each other very much. 3 criticisms of what is going on in choice modeling. The first one is the reliance on hypothetical data. I think it can work very well, state of choice, in a context where people have experience of using it. But how about unfamiliar contexts, so things that people really have no experience with at the moment? My second issue is the reliance on cross-sectional data. Let's say I've estimated a model, and I find in my model that if you're older, you travel less, and if it's cheaper, you travel more. Well, what's going to happen if we're looking at forecasting? So if the population ages over time, will they travel less? If the oil prices go down, will people travel more? And the problem is that really the vast majority of data sets and our models are estimated on cross-sectional data. So the differences that we attribute to differences across people are not differences for the same person over time. My third critique is that we tend to really treat choices in isolation. Is that in reality, the choices that you make are very interrelated. If I look at choice modeling over the last 15 years or so, we've really become too reliant on state of preference data and too reliant on cross-sectional data. We're looking at 3 specific streams of proper longitudinal data. The most exciting data set is a study conducted in Bradford. It's a city that has major issues in terms of the ethnic mix, major issues in terms of social mobility, and also some of the highest infant mortality rates in the UK, some of the highest rates of various diseases, including diabetes. And so what they did is they started a study 12 years ago where they intercepted women when they were 26 weeks pregnant. And they now have around 10,000 children that they have followed from that 26-week pregnancy stage until they're 10 or 12 years old now, and they basically know everything about them. And then this is all completely linked into the NHS data and Department of Education data in terms of what are the health and educational outcomes for those children. There's also genetic data on the children. So diagnostics for autism are pretty bad in the UK and often diagnosed far too late for the child to really benefit from better trajectories. And the idea that our psychologists came up with together with the choice modelers is to see, well, can we develop experimental games? And so we're almost training that experimental data on the data for the same children where we know what their autism status is, with a view to then trying to come up with simpler tools for diagnosing autism than going through a full diagnosis, because apparently very many children just fall through the cracks and only get detected quite late on in life, including into adulthood.